You ever have someone toss money at your boots and tell you to disappear from your own family's land? Like you're the help, like your history can be bought for the price of a fancy dinner? Yeah, that was my Saturday morning. And let me tell you, it got a whole lot uglier before it ever got good. I was out behind my granddad's cabin, chainsaw buzzing, pine sap in the air, sweat running down my back. The kind of honest work that makes you feel like you earned your breakfast. When this white BMW comes gliding up the dirt road like it took a wrong turn out of a luxury car commercial. Door swings open, and out steps Bethany Cromwell. Perfect hair, sharp heels sinking into gravel, sunglasses big enough to hide a small ego behind, except hers wasn't small. She doesn't wave, doesn't ask my name, doesn't even pretend to admire the place. Pack up and get out, she says, like she's ordering coffee. My book club needs your cabin this weekend. I actually looked behind me to see if she was talking to someone else. Nope. Just me. Chainsaw in hand. Then, I swear to God, she flicks $200 at my boots. Just tosses it there. That should cover it. You know that slow burn you feel when something's so ridiculous it almost circles back to funny? Yeah, that happened. I shut off the chainsaw, let the silence stretch, and said, "Ma'am, this isn't an Airbnb." She tilts her head, smiles that tight real estate smile, and says, "Everything is negotiable." Let me back up a sec, because you need to understand what that cabin is before you understand why I didn't just pocket the cash and laugh it off. My grandfather, Samuel Wade, built that place in 1943 when he came home from the Pacific. Solid cedar logs, stone foundation he hauled himself, nails driven in by a man who believed things should outlast the hands that made them. He raised my dad there. Then me. Then my boy Jake learned to drive on that same gravel road, clutch jerking, dust flying, both of us laughing like fools. That cabin isn't square footage. It's memory. It's sweat in the beams. It's stories in the floorboards. And Pinebrook, the town around it, used to feel like that too. Kids on bikes, folks trading tomatoes over fences, old men arguing about baseball at the hardware store. Then the money came. Then the lakefront got developed. Then came Bethany, fresh from Malibu, bringing what she called elevated standards. In real English? Beige everything. No trucks. No unsightly structures. No personality unless it matched a Pinterest board. 3 years ago, she became HOA president. And suddenly Pinebrook wasn't a town anymore, it was a showroom. Now here's the kicker: my cabin predates the HOA. By decades. It's legally grandfathered in. Every single rule she worships doesn't apply to my little patch of mountain. But bullies don't care about technicalities. They care about compliance. So when I didn't move for her wine and cheese weekend, she pulled out a printed sheet, something that looked like it came from Kinko's, and threatened to call the cops for trespassing on community land. I laughed. She didn't. 5 minutes later, sirens in the distance. Yeah, that happened. Deputy shows up, looks at me, looks at her, probably already regretting his career choices. I show him my deed. He nods. Politely explains she has no authority here. She stands there fuming, heels digging trenches in my driveway. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Monday morning, thick envelope in my mailbox. Legal threats stacked like firewood. Repaint the workshop HOA-approved taupe. Remove the non-compliant addition. $15,000 in fines. 4 wood stain. I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my eggs. But instead of firing back angry, I did something better. I drove to the county records office. Helen, bless her, has worked there since Nixon. She helped me dig through maps, original plats, handwritten survey notes from 1943. We found photos of my granddad standing with the original planners. Turns out Pinebrook was literally designed around the cabin. It's on the earliest survey map like a fixed star. I scanned everything. Sent Bethany a polite email with attachments. Game over, right? Wrong. She replies within hours saying my grandfathered status expired because no one slept there every single night between my granddad's passing and my inheritance. I actually blinked at the screen. Then she schedules a board meeting to declare my property abandoned. That's when things got mean. Anonymous complaints. Health department calls about sewage smells. Rumors I was running a commercial shop because I changed my truck's oil outside. Neighbors stopped making eye contact at the grocery store. It was isolation by design. Her strategy was simple: bleed me until I sell. What she didn't count on was my cousin Derek. Derek's a paralegal with a love for loopholes and courtroom drama. He comes up one weekend, sits at my kitchen table with a stack of papers and a grin that means trouble. First twist? The original survey line actually cuts through the edge of Bethany's rose garden. Legally, part of her perfectly curated floral masterpiece sits on my land. Second twist? Behind a loose panel in the workshop, I found an old metal strongbox. Inside a notarized covenant from 1945, signed and sealed. It grants the Wade family perpetual access to every amenity in Pinebrook, lake, courts, community center, no fees. Forever. You know that feeling when the chessboard flips. Yeah, we documented everything. Every HOA violation selectively ignored for her friends. Unlicensed deck extensions. Code issues on her Glass Lake house. Photos. Dates. Copies. The next board meeting was packed. Bethany opens with a PowerPoint, dramatic music, highlighted violations, calling my cabin a safety hazard. She motions for a vote to seize my property. Then I stand up, old maps in one hand, my granddad's portrait in the other. I tell the story. About 1943. About veterans building communities. About sweat equity before architectural compliance committees. I read from my grandfather's handwritten note. Some future busybody will try to push our family off this land. Make sure the community remembers who built it. The room went quiet. Then Janet Morrison stands up. Says she remembers my granddad fixing her roof for free in '68. Pete Martinez talks about the tomatoes they used to grow. Professor Brighton, who I didn't even know was coming, quotes constitutional property rights. And then, like something out of a movie, Deputy Martinez, sheriff's son, friend of my granddad, stands and calmly says Bethany is under investigation for harassment and filing false reports. You could feel the shift, like air pressure changing before a storm breaks. The board voted unanimously to drop every complaint against me, then called for her resignation. She shouted, called me a liar, demanded someone call 911 again. Nobody moved. 6 months later, her real estate license was revoked for ethics violations. She pled guilty to filing false reports. Community service. Then she vanished from Colorado like a bad investment. Her glass house sold. The rose garden? Removed, technically landscaping my property without permission. The new HOA board? Regular folks. They scrapped the beige mandates. Trucks returned to driveways. Flower gardens bloomed in colors that would have given Bethany a migraine. Property values actually went up. Turns out people like living somewhere with a soul. And here's the thing I didn't expect somewhere between the legal filings and the late-night strategy sessions with Derek. I realized this wasn't just about land. It was about memory. About who gets to define a place. Money can buy houses. It can't buy history. My cabin's now a county landmark. Jake still stalls the truck sometimes on that gravel road. I still split without back. And some evenings I sit on the porch, chili simmering inside. Yeah, Patricia makes a mean one. And I look at the lake and think about how close I came to letting someone erase us with $200 and a threat. So let me ask you something. If someone marched onto your land, literal or metaphorical, and tried to rewrite your story with a stack of rules and a pocket full of cash, what would you do? Where's the line between keeping order and abusing power? When does community standards turn into control? I'm genuinely curious. Have you ever faced something like this? Did you fight back? Did you walk away? Drop your thoughts below. I read every one. Because believe me, there's always someone out there ready to test the boundaries. And sometimes the only thing standing between justice and tyranny is a stubborn streak, a stack of paperwork, and the willingness to say, real calm and real clear. Not on my watch.